sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. And Joe King Carter. I love the way that sounds. Each and every Wednesday, we're coming at you. Hi, Joey.
Hey.
We're coming at you noon on Wednesdays. It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. You know, after we do this show at noon, each and every week, we're just racing towards the weekend. I'm your host, Mario Nunez. You are listening to The Conversation, as always. I'm seated next to my co-host,
Joe King Carter.
as you just heard earlier.
That's it.
Joe King Carter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Sometimes I'm in my excitement.
That's the reason I said it, my friend.
I say good morning.
I know you do.
Sometimes I do that.
Well,
Because it's the first time that these people are hearing me today, and I still think maybe it is morning
that's right.
for some
That's
people.
right. A little cup of coffee in your hand. Good morning, everybody.
Listen, we can talk a little bit about it right up at the top of the show, but and most of us have somebody that we know that lives out on the left coast, and the stuff that's going on out there in L.A. right now is absolutely, it's apocalyptic. It's see the images coming back, and
horrific.
Horrific. As human beings, I say this often, Joe, when we talk to each other. You don't know what you don't know. And you can't conceive of something unless you've seen it, or maybe in your mind's eye you possibly can conceive of it. But those images, I don't think that even in your wildest imaginings you can imagine what's
Well, let's
happening.
keep in mind that at the same time, there are still people living in tents from Helena and Milton. There are people living in tents in one side of the United States, and there are people by the thousands and thousands who've lost
That
their
are being
homes
displaced
and everything they own.
And that's just
on
it.
the other side. And all of those have a unified connection. And what is that connection?
Humanity.
Weather.
Yeah. Okay.
Weather, and
It's all weather related.
They're weather related, and there's no doubt about it, because the hurricanes are now, we have superstorms
Because the science is in, pal.
and the science is in, and we have at least 4 years ahead of us in which we are not going to make much headway on this issue.
Quite the contrary. And I can't even imagine, we here in Florida, we know a little bit about tornadoes, very little, as they spawn up during the hurricane season. And, of course, we do know a lot about hurricanes. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dennis Phillips. Shout out to Dennis Phillips and his suspenders. But a firestorm? A wall of fire that comes at you at 70 miles an hour?
It's astounding.
You can't outrun it. It just engulfs you, and then it takes
astounding.
everything.
Yeah. No,
and
I can't imagine.
They're going to find human remains in some of those homes, the people that were overcome by smoke, that were literally incinerated. And when you look at the homes, the only things that are standing are the chimneys, because they're designed to hold fire, so they have to be fireproof.
That's right. The irony of that, huh?
Everything else is burned to the ground. So,
and what we have to remember here is this is community radio. We are connected to our community. Our community is local. Our community is state, it's national, it's global, and we are all part of the human condition. And in any way that you can help any of these folks and reach out, and if you have family in any of these areas, my deepest concern to you. And that's all we can say, really.
I would be remiss in keeping with a little bit of the sad news of the day if I didn't mention right up at the top of the show, the Tampa Bay community at large, writ large, Carver City and Tampa and the Jefferson High School Dragon community lost one of its great champions last Friday, a gentleman by the name of Ricky Gallen. For those of you that may not know who Ricky is, might need to do a little Google search on him. First NBA player to be drafted out of the state of Florida, class of 1974, Jefferson High School. Was one of the key players in the Denny Crum years at the University of Louisville. 3 out of the 4 years he was there, they participated in the Final Four. Ricky, his whole life was spent taking care of others, right? So when he finished his professional playing career in Europe, he came back, and for the next 35 years, he was with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Most recently, he had started a whole new chapter in his life where he was able to, he retired finally from the Boys and Girls Clubs, and he started this new organization on 22nd Street in Hillsborough by Middleton High School there called Skills. It's an after-school program. It's a program whereby kids can come in and learn life skills. And we lost Ricky on Friday. And for those of us that knew him and loved him, we're still reeling. It was sudden and it was shocking. And there are going to be some more details on his memorial service here coming up soon. So to his wife, Kim, and his 2 children, we express our condolences, and we're going to miss the big fella. When I say big fella, 6'11", that's a pretty big fella. So,
wow.
You know, Ricky was a force of nature, and it was all good with Ricky. So,
wow.
Ricky, we're going to miss you, pal, and we love you so much. Joey.
Yes.
Monday is a good day and a bad day. A bad day, we won't get into that right now. We'll leave that for another public affairs show because there's an inauguration that's going to be taking place in Washington. We don't want to talk about that today. But we will talk about the fact that it is MLK Day, and there's going to be a celebration, as there always is, and WMNF will be participating.
Excellent.
How so? How so, might you ask?
How so?
Well, there you go. Thanks for asking. I never thought you'd ask. We have a spot in the parade. Spot number 76 will be there in force, en masse, as they say. And we'll be passing out flowers, which is what we do here at WMNF. You know, flower, power, peace, and love.
Yes.
And we'll be spreading all that goodwill and good cheer on MLK Day. So look for us in the parade if you happen to be on that 2-mile path.
There we go.
And we'll be there.
There we go. Very good.
So, Joe, without further ado, who is our guest in studio with us today?
Well, our guest today is Mike Reed, and Mike Reed is a person with an interesting backstory. We're going to talk about this a little bit, but I will say right up front that last week we talked about Kitty Daniels.
Louise Alice Krikorian was here.
Was our guest, and we talked at length about the life of the most notable local performer, jazz singer extraordinaire, a woman of an amazing history who played with some of the greats during her time here in Tampa.
Miss Kitty from?
Ybor City. Miss Kitty from Ybor City. But today's show is not going to be just the Kitty Daniels show, although she'll probably be in the room here walking around a lot.
She's here with us.
But she also raised a grandson named Mike Reed, and Mike Reed has become an actor, and Mike Reed is with us, and hello, Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for having me.
100%. Thank you for being here.
Very good.
On short notice, because we just reached out to you recently, and we're grateful that you were able to put things on pause just to come in and honor your grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's the most important thing, and that's why I really wanted to commit to being here. And also, she played here a little bit, so she worked with you guys, she messed with you guys, and so I want to support the family here. So,
excellent.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So I think that ultimately, and I said this to several people in the community since our last show, that ultimately there ought to be recognition for her in some form in Ybor City, or
maybe along the Riverwalk,
or maybe
with the other notables from Tampa,
maybe over off in the Encore Central Park, wherever. But she's from Ybor City. I know her where the house was. And but I think at some point in the future, there's going to be something marking her life there.
City Council, are you listening?
Yes, but please let everyone who's listening know. Give us a very brief synopsis of who your grandmother, who was like your mother, who she was.
Yeah. My grandmother, Kitty Daniels, was a jazz legend and somebody. She raised me. She was the first person when I came into the world. She was the first person to hold me. My mom was very young at the time, and she went to college, and my dad was in the NFL, and he was doing things. And so my grandmother took it upon herself to raise me. And, I say she's my grandmother and things like that, but the true relationship was more like mother-son. And that's just the way it was. It was just the way I was taken care of by her. And the legend part is so interesting, and the icon part and all that is interesting to wrap my head around, because that I just found out about all the things she did, how important she was to so many people only a few years ago. When, Louise, who's partly responsible for me being here today, and other folks, really started opening up and telling her story, the PBS documentary, things like that. And it had been things she had kind of always said, but you know how like you have a relative that says something and you're like, oh, absolutely, you know, yeah, sure. And it was all true. It turned out
Back
to
in the
all be
day,
true.
I used to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we got Cherokee in our blood. But all that stuff. And my grandmother it was all very true. And it was only a few years ago that I really found out who she was in the greater outside of our family person. She was extremely important in our family, raised like 3 generations of kids off of her love of music and talent, off of her passion. And she was able to make it work somehow. And raise me and all these things. And so, you know, she was...
Mike, how did you know her? What did you call her? How did you refer to her? I mean, did you have
Ma? I called her Ma. I called her Ma. I called her Ma. You know, I called her Ma, you know, my entire... I never called her, like, Kitty or anything like that.
Or Granny or Grandma or Grand.
Yeah, she had way more nicknames for me.
Sure, a couple.
Yeah. Like, Sugar Puddin' is one that I use with my daughter now. Ooh,
that's kind of fun.
Ooh, I use that hit me
Got
a
you a little bit.
Yeah, Sugar Puddin', Frazzle Dazzle, just things like that. And my family name, I go by Mike Reed in the world, but my family name is MC because that's what she always used to call me, which stands for Michael Christopher. My middle name's Christopher. Now everyone knows.
Nice.
Now everyone knows.
It's out, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know she was this great matriarch. That's who she was to me. She was my mother. She was a matriarch. She was the person who held the family together and took care of everyone in the family and took care of everyone in her neighborhood. You know, a lot of folks don't know this. We talk about the jazz legend part and everything, but she would, you know, give loans to some of the folks in the neighborhood. I remember her and my granddad, Majid, would give loans to folks in the neighborhood so they could make their rent or make their groceries or whatever they had to do. Because she was fortunate enough to have a little money, and then also like take care of folks, bring them in. If folks needed like a place to stay, she would bring folks in and let them stay for a little bit.
Wow.
You know,
she get on their feet. Sure.
Yeah, they had a house next door. We still have it in the family house next door. That she would rent out for very, very low amount. And it's still, we keep the rent very, very low for the area. So folks could afford to like live and have a decent place to call home. And that's the truth of who she, and those are the things I saw, and that's who she was. And the jazz legend stuff is just like, wow, it's hard right now to wrap my head around as I'm planning this funeral and doing everything and trying to honor her legacy. To wrap my head around all of it because she was just Ma.
The force of nature.
She was just Ma.
On top of her humanitarian side, which you're expressing to us so sincerely, there was also the music side, which was the legend part that you're talking about. Wasn't it humbling to find out about all of that? Because all you knew her was as your Ma. That's, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you realize when you start to hear the story, it's like, wow, this beautiful lady who I knew nurtured me from the time I was little is also, you know, incredibly ensconced in the jazz music world.
Yeah, no, that part of it is it's almost like, you know, I get to know her again in a different way. I get to rediscover my grandmother again in a different way. I always grew up on her music. She would always practice. Like she would wake up at, you know, she worked as a lounge singer, so she'd wake up around like 10:30, 11, and she would practice like for like 2 hours. So I always hear the music. When I was very, very young, when I was a baby, because she didn't have childcare and stuff all the time, she took me on gigs and jobs and things like that with her. I was a baby on the piano table at a place called Lost and Found that used to be in Brandon, run by a guy named Armand. And Lost and Found, I don't remember it, but there's photos of me on the piano as a baby. So her music has always been there. The jazz legend part and understanding who she is, and you know, she played with B.B. King, and she played with all these different folks. She was a piano player. Etta James. I was just about to say that. All these different folks, and learning all that, I'm like, wow, like what, like for real, like what? And that's amazing. And her activist work too. She was an activist and worked really hard to get black musicians into the Musicians Union. She worked, she organized, and it all, when I see this stuff now, it makes so much sense about who I am and how, and the things that I do, and the way that I approach and interact with my community as well.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize that I think in many cases how powerful that, in the history of America, what I think is sort of lost sometimes is that black Americans created their own business districts before the Civil Rights Act. And it's ironic that the Civil Rights Act led to ultimately, very often, the downfall of those black communities, because now black people could go into Walgreens or they could go to other stores, and it shifted. But Central Avenue was this amazing place that attracted some of the greatest jazz acts of the day. And this is right where Kitty was doing her stuff, hanging out and playing and performing. And so when you say, Etta James or B.B. King or Ray Charles, or these are all acts that were coming through Central Avenue. And it's an amazing moment in time. The other thing about her life that has struck me was that she probably, had she left the Tampa area, gone much further, but she made the choice. She didn't like flying, and she made the choice, at least that's what I heard in one of the documentaries, and she made the decision to care for her family, and that would be you, among others.
Yeah.
And so her dedication to her family impacted her career in a certain kind of way. And I think that speaks just reams about her character as a person.
No, absolutely. She could have gone really far. And if she had gone to, New York or anything like that, if she had really gone, and she got all those offers, but she chose family first. She chose her kids. She chose her husband of the time. She chose her husband. She chose, just the family unit and her mother, and decided to be, I'll make it work here. I'll make it work here. This is what I want to do. I want to be a mother, and I want to be a family person. There was, she would go on cruise ships. She had the Sea Escape a long time ago. She played on a cruise ship, so she'd go, but she'd always come back. But yeah, she sacrificed so much for us, and that's why it's such a heavy lift now to try and live in her legacy and live in her light and live in her shadow and the way that she raised me. To make sure the family comes first, because family be hard sometimes.
Yes, sir. Let's ring a bell on that.
Family be hard.
I love it.
That's a line right there. Yeah.
Michael, can we write that down?
Yeah,
Michael,
yeah,
I'm writing it down as you speak.
Take it.
Let me say that if you'd like to join us here on The Conversation, this would be a good time to tell you how to do that. We're talking today with Mike Reed, grandson to the great Kitty Daniels. And as we kind of review her life through Mike's eyes, if you'd like to join the conversation, call us at 813-239-9663. Send us a text, 813-433-0885. And you can always, always, always send us an email, dj@wmnf.org. Operators are standing by to take your calls now.
Yes. So let's move a little bit more into, you grew up in Ybor City.
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised. And where along there you are today an actor, among other things, I presume, because actors do lots of things. But how did that, let's start talking about what happened for you as you graduated from high school and where you went and what happened.
Yeah, so I've always been a performer, right? My grandmother, would make me sing songs and things like that. And
you had a front row seat, didn't you?
Yeah,
course you would.
I did. Me and the owner of Donatello's, I was over there yesterday and talking with him, Gino. His name's Gino. And we were talking yesterday, and I used to sleep under the bench in Donatello's when I was, we were going back and forth on the age. I can't quite remember. I had to be like 6, 7, maybe 8. And I'd sleep under the bench in the back. And then eventually I got too big for the bench. So, they got me a cot. But yeah, I would sleep there and just listen to the music and stuff. But yeah, I've always, kind of been a performer. Sometimes I get up and dance and stuff when I was younger. And just when I got into high school, nothing kind of clicked except theater and drama. I went to Gaither High School, which is a hike. But
yeah, wow.
Yeah, my dad demanded it. So to play football. But I didn't really want to play football. I wanted to perform in theater. It's kind of stuck in, ironically, at the same drama teacher as my mom, who also went to Gaither. her alma mater, and it was a lady named Miss Newman. Shout out. And she kind of just nurtured my love of theater and performing and acting and that kind of thing. And I really fell in love with it. I really wasn't much good at other stuff except talking and to people.
Right.
And so that's kind of, acting is one thing I do. I am an actor. There's stuff out, and then the other thing is, I'm a labor union organizer to pay the bills as a living, and that's what I do.
Good on you.
For the day to day.
Got a little bit of that from your grandma too, right? You saw that happen in real time.
It's so crazy. But yeah, no, just kind of, it started from high school, and my grandmother just kind of nurtured it. Mm-hmm. She paid for my acting classes at the acting school here locally, a really good one. She, took me to auditions all the way in.
So what was that acting school that she...
The Performance Studio Workshop that's no longer there. It was run by a lady named Kathy Lachlan, who unfortunately, I believe has passed.
Kathy has? Are you breaking news here today? Because I auditioned for Kathy many.
You know Kathy Lachlan? Oh my! At PSW, yeah, out on Hillsborough, yeah, off of Hillsborough, yeah, over in Town and Country.
Of course.
I went there for like 2 years. I was there for 2 years, sure. And my grandma would take me to auditions. She'd run me up the road, Miami, wherever. My grandmother did that, and she just really believed in me, more than just about anyone else in the family. More than love my dad, love you, Dad. More than my dad as an actor, and everything. My dad thought football was everything.
Well, you said he was in the NFL. I mean, you buried the lead on us a little bit there. I wouldn't ask more about that than to tell us what years he played, but we'll talk about that after the show.
That could be another one. But yeah, and so that's just kind of what happened. Is my grandmother really nurtured it and spent a lot of money on my pursuit of theater and being an actor, even though she wanted me to be a singer. But yeah, it all still comes from her. Her performance, the way that she interacted with people, all those things comes into me as an artist. And I do it just a different way. It's just a different kind of art.
Art manifests itself in different ways. Joe's an artist as well. So, I mean, we all are in our own little lanes, in our own little silos. But you were exposed to it from infancy. So it doesn't surprise anybody in this studio that you gravitated towards it.
If you are someone who is getting that kind of support from your mama.
Oh, my gosh.
And you also have a genetic component, that's probably present, because I think that we're realizing now more and more what that stuff is about.
That is beyond environmental.
And you were just probably destined to be who you are. That's how it works.
Right? Maybe. I definitely, I feel her in my blood. I'll say that much. I feel her in my blood, in my spirit, and in my soul. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I understand that. So let's talk a little bit about acting, your experiences in that, and how what's going on and what has happened.
I'll talk a little bit about it. I did a lot of commercials. A lot of commercials back in the day. I got my SAG eligibility off of a Wawa commercial.
And they're filming Wawa commercials in Florida?
Yeah, they did. Back when they used to do commercials around here, and then all the work moved to Atlanta. I know. And
thanks, Tyler Perry.
Yeah, and I even tried to.
No. I mean, thanks, Tyler Perry, because he's holding it together for us.
In Atlanta.
He's building,
and it's so crazy. I actually worked for him on an episode of The Haves and the Have-Nots.
Nice.
Worked for Tyler Perry on an episode of that. In Atlanta, because I moved to Atlanta to try and really, and I was like 24, and I was going to go to Atlanta, and I was going to make it big, and I was going to do all this stuff, and I went, and my grandmother basically, once again
subsidized that as well?
Yeah, subsidized it along with my dad. Thank you, Pops, who rode up there with me, and it's just been a really long journey. The last thing I did was a movie that's on Amazon. You can watch it on Tubi as well. It's called The Wild Man Skunk Ape. And I'm in it as one of the leads. And it's a kind of a documentary found footage horror thing. And I filmed it like 2-3 years ago. And it is my magnum opus.
Did it make the Gasparilla Independent Film Festival? I mean, it sounds like it should have been there.
I don't know. It might have. I had some short films in that. There's some stuff you can watch me on YouTube.
IMDb page. You got an IMDb page?
I do. Mike Reed IMDb page that I neglect very much.
So there you go. If you want to see a image of what Mike looks like, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
I've been a stunt performer here at the Renaissance Festival and other shows here locally for years. Back when I was attractive.
Still attractive, still very much younger than me and Joe. So,
yeah, I mean-
What year did you graduate from Gaither, by the way?
09.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought I wanted to get that. I wanted to listen that response from you, Joe. 'Cause
you got it.
We're
too.
a little bit far away from 2009. Huh?
Yeah. So a lot of people who are not connected to acting in any professional way don't realize that you can. Some people just they're making their living off of commercials. Commercials are very.
Can be.
Yeah, they can be.
Can be.
And it's very interesting because my friends who are professional actors, they tell me these stories that are sometimes hilarious and sometimes nightmarish. And
Oh, yeah.
any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yes, I have several thoughts. Yeah, there's a lot of commercials that I did back in the day, and I'm very blessed for them because they were SAG, so you kept getting
residuals. Sure,
you kept getting residuals, and that helped out a lot. But yeah, no, there's a lot of just waiting around on set in the cold, in the hot, in the heat. A lot of waiting around on set, a lot of being told, go over here, stand over here. No, and then someone else tells you, no, go stand over here. Why would you stand over here? That's so dumb. Who told you to do that? And you don't want to tell anybody. You're just like,
you want to be nice. You want to play nice.
Yeah. Went to a few parties in Atlanta, some actor performer parties where things were a little nuts and a little crazy.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, no Diddy. But yeah, it's really hard work. It's hard. There's a grind. It's you only do it if you love it. It's thankless for the most part because everyone's going to tell you, get real, get serious, do something else. And I just can't do that. So
it's an attractive pursuit, but it is, like you say, it's a grind, Mike, and you have to have a fallback position because a lot of times you don't get to that level that, not everybody can be a Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? Not everybody has that kind of experience in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, and the older you get, the less and less the incentive is to be chasing it is hard. When you're young, you've got the juice, so you can do that. But, and Florida's just not the place for it. Maybe
not anymore. It used to be back in the day, but not anymore, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's there's also the other thing is that there's a tremendous, and people who are at the very top of the game will tell you this, tremendous amount of luck involved.
Yes.
You can be prepared. You can be talented in the extremis. But if you don't get lucky, it's not going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it's luck.
The right place, right time situation.
Yeah.
Right?
It's luck and preparation, and and I've kind of gotten better at auditioning because I realized this isn't about me. This is about just coming in here and giving my version of whatever the thing is and doing my best for what I think it is, and then go because it's not about me. It's about all these other it's about this thing they're trying to do. I'm one small component in this thing, and it's really helped my auditioning because I used to go in auditions full of nerves and anxiety and read my
come out right. Never comes out right.
Never comes out right. And Kathy actually knocked a too out on me. Kathy, she'd throw a shoe.
She was she was pretty strict and pretty stern, and she didn't suffer fools too gladly. The whole thing about the acting personification and the things you do is you just have to realize that they don't know what they're looking for until they see it. And it's a numbers game. They will go through, and you know this full well, Mike, they go through how many dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people, and they don't know it, what they're looking for, until they see it. And when they see it, they go, okay, that guy or that gal. And it's very subjective.
Right.
So you can't beat yourself up. And that's one thing that most young actors will do. It's
Right.
me. How can I do better? What can I do better? No, sometimes nothing. Sometimes nothing.
So we are at a place for our.
Yes. What do you call that, Joe? What do you call that, Joe?
I don't know. What would you call that?
I think it's called a station identifier. I think it's called an identifier. So listen, if you're out there just joining us, we want to remind you who you're listening to, and this would be a great time to do that.
Hi, I'm Louise Alice Krikorian, and you are listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM Tampa.
And not for nothing, but that's one of the sexiest promos.
Thank you, Louise.
Yeah, thank you, Louise. Thank you, Louise. We enjoy that.
I told her that. She has that voice.
And Mike, you can look forward to recording one for us after the show today as well.
There you go. Yeah.
I get to do that super.
Put all your acting skills to work right then and there, baby.
There you go. So
ask about Kitty. Ask about Kitty. Ask something about Kitty.
Ask something about Kitty.
Like maybe, Mike, do you have a favorite song? Do you have one song in particular that you know when you hear it, it's always going to just give you that warm embrace that you know your grandmother used to love on you with?
Yeah.
I mean, she had a tremendous portfolio of music.
Yes, no, she did. There was one song, and I cannot. Cigarette holder, which wigs me under my shoulder, she digs me. I cannot remember. Satin Doll. Satin Doll.
There we go.
Satin Doll is the song that she would sing, and then she was like, "You're gonna learn this song," and then I did learn the song along with a few others. But Satin Doll was, and her mother came too. It's another. Oh, these are all flooding back. It's so weird. It's coming back like a waterfall, but Yeah. No, I think that song and, Inshore Offshore, which is the name of a song that my granddad wrote. And when I hear that, I immediately like Waterworks and stuff.
That won't change, by the way.
It comes in waves, man. It comes in waves.
It does, and it will.
Well, you know what we have not said,
and it will.
What we have not said on the show today is the date of your mother's passing, your grandmother's passing.
It was. Man, I'm never gonna remember. I'm never gonna forget it. Is what I meant to say. She passed on January 2nd at 1:30 p.m. My uncle came to the house and woke me up because it was New Year's and I'd been partying and everything, and came in and woke me up and let me know that she was gone. Her oldest son, Keith. My uncle, and just walked down to my house because I literally live on the same street I grew up on. I live like less than a block away from my grandmother's house. And he just walked down and came and told me, and I just fell into his arms and cried like a baby.
So this is just 2 weeks ago, and that's the reason I wanted to bring it up, to let our audience know that this is fresh for Mike, and it's fresh for all of us, but it's very fresh for Mike. And so when you say those things, I understand that these are moments that are very strong. I can imagine what going through Satin Doll would be like for you in your mind. It's a special moment. Yeah.
We've got a caller, shall we? Let's go ahead and listen and see what Maurice in Tampa would like to say about Kitty. Maurice, are you there with us? Thank you for calling in.
I'm here.
Thank you so much for calling in. What say you, sir?
I just wanted to share my love and respect for Kitty Daniels. Over the past few years, was able to grow quite close to her and my G. She graced the Tampa Bay Jazz Fest, in which I am the founder and CEO, with her presence 2 years back. And since that time, we've been connected, and it was nothing for me to pull up at the restaurant on Thursdays and hear her genius on display. And she was just a jewel, and she would never let me come in and not play and sing as well. So I had to get on the piano, not necessarily because I wanted to, because when you're in the presence of that level of greatness, you just want to soak it in. But she had a love and appreciation for my gift as well, which is so much respected. And I was maybe about a month ago, I got to see her one last time, and she was finishing up. And because I walked in the restaurant, she agreed to play some more, and I brought one of my proteges with me. So the three of us played and enjoyed each other, and I was able to tell her I love her and thank her for all she's done, how she's inspired me. So I just wanted to express this openly to let the Tampa Bay area know we had a jewel. And yesterday, I received a call from Belinda Warmack asking for me to play for the service. So that was yet another honor that I look forward to on Saturday to, again, celebrate such an amazing woman.
Maurice, it is not lost on us, the sentiment in your voice, and we hear it and we feel it, and we just thank you so much for calling in today. I think we will probably run across each other's paths here at the service coming up soon. And at the same time, we would like to, at some point, extend the invitation. Perhaps you could come on with us here at the conversation and share some of your story, because it sounds compelling. And I know our audience would love to hear more about Maurice Allen. So thank you so much, Maurice, for calling in today.
Thank you, Maurice. Those are very touching words.
Thank you.
And we're sorry for your loss. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's the range. That's the reach. that Miss Kitty Daniels had. That she
absolutely
inspired people. And when you like Maurice said, when you're in the presence of something like that, you don't deny, you don't say no, you say yes, ma'am. And where would you like me to sit? Would you like me to sit here next to you? Would you like me to play here?
Right.
I'll be your left hand if you'll be my right hand.
Yeah. So, our
The service is this Saturday. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit
let
about
everybody know about
Yeah,
that.
sure. The service is Saturday right up the street at Aikens Funeral Home at 1:30 to anyone who wants to attend. There's going to be a viewing on Friday at 1:30. If anybody wants to attend that, I'll be attending that in lieu of my mother because, she just can't handle it right now. So it's been great. Aikens Funeral Home has been amazing. Me and my wife have been the ones who are responsible for planning this funeral. And I've never planned a funeral before. And this is the hardest, I'm a labor union organizer. I travel the country and I help workers organize and negotiate contracts. And I even lobby politicians for more working class laws and things. And this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
This is the biggest emotional lift I've ever had, and it's I just got to shout out to Aikens Funeral Home for making it as easy as possible, and all the folks who reached out and helped us take care of the funeral, and pay for it and things like that, and just everyone who has donated. So thank you so much for that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure it must be.
We've also got another caller that would like to share some thoughts as well. Kelly, you're on the air with the conversation. Kelly, thanks for calling in.
I got to say, I appreciate this program because I always get a little bit of some hidden Tampa history when I call up, and I happen to be an acquaintance of the multi-talented Mr. Mike Reed, and I know his work as an organizer and activist in the community. But I had no idea the extent, and it makes sense now hearing him talk about this incredible woman who raised him and instilled these values in him to make him the man he is today. So I appreciate listening to this. Brought tears to my eyes just hearing the emotion, and it really is important for people to make these connections, to understand like these really important moments in Tampa history, talking about the Central Business District, talking about that era and the talent and beauty that existed here. So just wanted to share that, and much love to Mike Reed, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you, Kelly.
Kelly, thanks for calling in. We promise that as we approach Black History Month, which will be next month, and of course all the celebrations beginning next Monday with the MLK Parade, that you can count on the conversation to continue that and continue highlighting those stories. So thank you for enunciating that. We appreciate it.
Yes.
We hope that we're doing it a service, justice, with much love and respect. So thank you, Kelly. We'll be here each and every
Absolutely.
Wednesday. Thanks for listening in.
And Kelly, thank you. And you're right. Connections are everything. That's what we seek in life, is to be connected.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I just want to shout out, hey Kelly, I just talked to him last night. It's so great. It's Kelly Benjamin, and he's bearing the lead. More than an acquaintance, he's been like a mentor in the organizing activist stuff. He actually helped me get my first community organizing job with an organization called Organize Florida. Now it used to be Organize Florida. And I worked under Kelly a few times when he was with SEIU. I'm currently with SEIU. And he's the reason, he was the guy who helped me get into this work. But back when I was 24 or so, yeah.
Well,
Which is young to be in that position, to be honest. Mm-hmm. That's usually something that requires a little more experience in the field. So good for you for jumping in.
Let's talk about this work. Now we've talked about you as an actor. Let's talk about you as an organizer. Tell us how that happened.
Oh, well, it's so funny. Kelly's a part of the story. I was working for an organization called Save the Children. I was one of those guys at a kiosk where I'd try to stop folks and, hey, come talk to me. Let's talk about saving kids. And, this is back during 2016, 2015. And our dear friend and president-elect Donald Trump was coming in town for a rally, and I tried real hard. I'm sorry
Yikes.
to not talk about it, but was coming in town.
Well, we're all
and-
going to be talking about it soon.
Oh boy! And so I was like, I am seeing all this stuff on the media. I'm seeing this stuff in the news. Let me go down here to the Tampa Bay Convention Center and just see if it's as bad as everyone's saying. Are these crowds and everything as bad as everyone's saying? So I went. And, Kelly Benjamin was also there, and he was one of the activists that you might have seen shutting some stuff down. And he interviewed me about my experiences there, which were not great. Just being there wasn't the best. And he interviewed me, and he was like, man, you should really look at. And I love Kelly Benjamin. He sounds like an old jazz guy, like a beatnik from like the 60s or 50s. And I loved it. He's like, man, you should come check out this one thing. And told me about Organize Now and organizing and stuff. And I didn't really understand what it was. And I kind of got involved with them as an activist. I went out to rallies. I helped organize rallies. This is before I was getting paid. And just through that and watching Kelly also work and being friends with him for so many years, I just kind of learned. And then before I knew it, before the year was out, I was working as a criminal justice organizer for Organize Florida now, but yes, Organize Now. And and Kelly's a huge part of it. I wouldn't have gotten into that work and this work if it wasn't for Kelly.
Wow.
Isn't it funny, Joe, how sometimes people will come into our lives, cross our paths, that will inspire us to do things that we didn't have any inclination to do before, but you just maybe have a knack for it. Mm-hmm. And it takes an illustration. It takes somebody to show you how, and then all of a sudden that wick is lit. And for the next 30 years, you might be on a path of helping people, of volunteerism, organizing, and especially in our country this day and age, union organization is what I think is sorely missing.
Oh, so desperately needed. And the only response I have to that is one of my favorite lines is the teacher appears when the student is ready.
Oh, I love that.
So now you are out organizing. What does that look like? Explain that a little bit. Like how does that function in your life? You have to go over there. You have to go over to this city. How does this all work?
So organizing has been. It's more than just like a fallback thing. It's a passion thing, and it's something I feel very driven to do, and it goes hand in hand with my acting because it's just historically that actors have organized around in very important things, and it just kind of works out hand in hand. And my skills from acting I can do there, and my skills from organizing I can do there. Mm-hmm. But it just day to day, what it really looks like is for the last 2 years I've been working for SEIU as a labor union organizer, and I travel the country. I go to whatever city they tell me to go to. And I will go in and just kind of embed myself and start talking to workers and finding out what their issues are and things like that, and helping them basically fight for the things they want to see changed. Mm-hmm. Because things are, people are tightening, the bosses are tightening the purse strings, mm-hmm. and folks are suffering all around this great nation, and people are suffering. And so that's all I do. I just kind of come in, I talk to people, I light a fire under their butt, I agitate them a little bit, and then I move them to action to fight for themselves. And you don't understand how hard it is to get people to fight for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's the cornerstone and the crux of what I do. At the end of the day, it's just talking to people. It's just a conversation. Is the real thing. It's just talking to people. A lot of folks want to make organizing really heady, and I don't like to do that. It's just all organizing was in the past was talking to people. All it is today is talking to people. And if you talk to them with compassion and empathy and really want to see their lives better, then you'll do what you need to do. And that's...
Wow, that's excellent.
Sorry, yeah.
No. And again, to come to this phase of your life still with that youth and that vigor, man, you're going to be providing that service for a lot of years to come if you decide to stay in the field and stay in the fight. We're getting some calls now, and I'm so grateful for the callers that want to share some thoughts about Miss Kitty and Miss Kitty's family. DeAndre, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Good morning, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, DeAndre.
I just want to thank you all, and Joe, Mario, and Mike. I don't really know you, Mike, but I'm also from Central Park Village, and to learn this, I'm 42 years old, and I'm always hungry for more knowledge about the place I come from. And to learn this, and I just feel at a loss because I wasn't able to experience that greatness firsthand. And I'm a big fan of, I'm a huge fan of jazz, and as well the ambiance that I grew up kind of experiencing off the periphery in Tampa Park and Central Park from Ybor City of that jazz feel, you know. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, and thank you for sharing as much as you have today. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you,
DeAndre. We always love your calls, and we look forward to them always. Thank you for listening, my brother. You continue to inspire
Thank
Joe
you,
and
DeAndre.
myself.
And you also there is a Kitty
documentary.
Daniels webpage that's
Yes.
available to you, and you can also go there and experience some of her music and her life. It's really amazing stuff.
KittyDaniels.com. Kitty Daniels, Miss Kitty from Ybor City, as we like to say.
That's right.
Thank you, DeAndre.
thank you.
And those are our callers, and they're wonderful, and
Yeah,
we appreciate each and every one of them.
absolutely.
Can we talk about the website a little bit? What can they expect to see on the website?
So you just kind of, you get the history and everything that my grandmother has done. And sometimes I go on the website and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. You get the history and everything.
And you're her grandson.
Yeah, and I'm her grandson. It's just one of those, it's so crazy. I'll get to that in a second. But the website, you'll see that. And another thing you'll see on the website is, you know, one of the things, my grandma is a legend. She was a legend. She had this horrific fight with lung cancer that literally, you know, I saw it drain the life out of her.
And to your knowledge, Mike, she didn't smoke. I understand that she didn't smoke, or maybe she did in her youth a little bit.
So in her youth, but when I was born, she stopped. She quit.
Okay.
Like my birth was kind of the thing. She was like, so then, and she gave it up, and it had been, you know, years and years and years. But it just kind of, it just did what it did. And I didn't know how sick she was because she wouldn't even let me know or let it on. And this horrible fight, unfortunately, drained her of every bit of money and resources they have. And unfortunately, her house that she lived in, the house that she raised her family in, the house that I grew up in, is in threat to be taken by the bank. If we don't find a way to fix something. So on the website, you can also find a way to donate to our GoFundMe page that we're getting going to try to save her house and then restore it, because there's black mold all in it, and that could have been a huge part of a factor of what's going on. And
The lungs, absolutely.
Exactly. And my grandfather, Majid Shabazz, who played with her for years, took care of her up until he was there when she passed. Like, he was there when she passed. He was with her every single day and every moment, took care of her, changed her, everything he needed to do for my grandmother. You know, and he still lives in that house. And my mom still lives in that house, and my sister still lives in that house. And any day now, the bank could come along. So we're doing everything we can to, if you go to her website, go to that page, there is a donate page, or you can just go to Kitty Daniels on GoFundMe, and you can donate that way. So you'll see those things on the website. And just a history of my grandmother, just the things she did, the things that she did. And then I look at it, and I'm like, wow. That's crazy, because my life is so similar as a performer and an activist, and the things that I do and trying to show up for my community the way she did. And it's funny, she used to tell me, she was like, boy, you need to stop being out in them streets all the time. You need to stop, you know, people might hurt you, whatever. It was fine for her to go out in the streets. It was fine for her to be an activist. It was fine for her to challenge these racial norms and things like that. But when it came to me, her grandson, she was so worried.
Protective. Sure.
And
Right.
yeah, and I was like, well, if I don't stand up, nobody else will. Like grandma, and she understood it to an extent, but she was always worried about my safety and the work that I did.
It's like, Miss Kitty, that's what you showed me.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
living your example.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Absolutely. So you're going to be at this event. The funeral is coming up, and the page is available. Is there anything else that you want to? A moment ago, you said, no, I'll say something about that in a moment. What was?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Because
our time is drawing near, and that's the reason I asked.
It is. We just want to make sure that if there's a shout out to some people that you want to, I know you mentioned Aikens Funeral Home for helping you with the plans. You've mentioned the people that have been so instrumental in your life to bring you to this point. Of course, you've spoken all day lovingly about your grandmother and what she's meant to you. Anybody else that you want to say anything for to?
I guess my final thing is I definitely want to let everyone know about Donatello's restaurant. Donatello's, and Gino's going to be so mad for me saying this, Donatello's paid her salary even after she could no longer work there. and continued to pay her. Gino did that, and he's always been a family friend. Gino has been there for my family in ways that some of my own family members haven't shown up, unfortunately.
Right.
And so I just want to give a shout out to Donatello's. Give them all the money. Go eat all this really good food. And Sunday, we will be at Donatello's at 5 p.m. with a tribute to Kitty Daniels. If anyone wants to show up, it will be hosted by her nephew, my cousin, Dale Horton. And he's going to be hosting it, and you're going to hear some great local jazz musicians that played with my grandmother. You're going to come and have a good time, have some cocktails, and we're going to just remember my grandmother in the best way possible. And that's, I just really want to give a shout out to Gino. Thank you for being more than a brother in a time when I was going through it. So just thank you, Gino and Donatello. So give them all the money.
Well, and again,
family takes many forms, by the way, and it's so often the case that it's not about blood.
And if you've been listening to the show today, and your curiosity is piqued because, as some may not have known about Miss Kitty, even though she was on Earth for 90 years. And performing for all of it, because she started when she was very, very young, as we learned last week. You might be able to hear some of her music, some of her proteges that will be performing on Sunday. That would be a great opportunity. Joey, I don't know about you, pal, but I'm already kind of making plans to be there on Sunday. I think
if it's possible, I will be.
And, maybe if they could just put a TV in the corner so we can watch one of the games that might be. We won't look at it. We'll just catch the highlights. But, I had the opportunity to meet your grandma and to meet Majid as well. They came in and did a show with me called the Tampa Native Show that is it's a visual. It's this interview format, but in visual form. And so I'm so grateful because that show will live into perpetuity. So you will have an opportunity. I think it's on the website as well. People can see the show there. Mm-hmm. I only regret that I didn't spend more time with her after that to get to just really, really, really know more about her history. But it will live on because Louise Alice Krikorian is doing all that she can to work with USF to make sure that all of her work and all of her interviews and the songs and her inimitable style, which people don't realize, she brought it from the early days of jazz and she kept it. She was true to that form the entire time. We played some of her music last week, Mike, so if you hadn't heard that show, go back and listen to it. I know she will be missed terribly, terribly in the community. Joey, what a great afternoon today, being able to speak with Mike.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Very
and Mike,
nice.
Thanks for coming in and sharing.
Absolutely.
And sharing your thoughts with us. What's in the offing for you now, young man? When you leave here, what are you going to do?
When I leave here, I'm going to go back home to my wife and daughter.
There you go.
My awesome wife, who has been just been my rock through this whole thing.
I imagine so.
She needs all the medals.
And we all need somebody to lean on every now and again.
Yeah. And then, once we get through Sunday and then Martin Luther King Day, I am slated to travel back to Portland to go finish organizing this hospital in Portland, Oregon. But we'll see. There's still a lot of work I have to do here to kind of fix things and help my family. And there's so much. But that is for another episode of this great show.
There you go. And don't put it past us, pal.
Yeah.
Because we'll reach out to you when you get back from Portland to see where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we can help in any way, we certainly will. We'll direct all of our friends to make sure they go to KittyDaniels.com. Joe, you're waving a card at me there. What's that card say?
Yeah, well, what that card says is coming up next, stay tuned for Jim Bannon, the governor of grooves, following after the news.
We saw him last night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We saw
we
him
had a meeting last night with all the staff at WMNF, and it was great to get together with some people because, we don't ever get a chance to see everybody else who does wonderful programming here.
And the other thing I wanted to say is, please, folks, fundraising is going to be coming up. If you'd like to think of the conversation now, that tip jar is there. Drop us a little coin and help us out, please, because we need some money.
Because we need money, lots and lots of money. And we don't know just how much we need to raise yet because they haven't told us. But if it's any indication, we'll try to.
But this is not a corporate event you're tuned into,
because
folks.
This is community radio, and we all know full well what does community radio subsist on, Joe?
It subsists on the generosity of the community. Absolutely.
And viewers and listeners like you.
With love, LOVE.
Love it. Thank you, Joey Kidd. Thank you, Jessica Green, for always being at the board and doing what you do, because we couldn't do it without you. No, I'm serious. I don't know how to work the board. So, I mean, Joey, I couldn't do it. Could you do it?
No, absolutely not.
And Joe, thanks for answering our calls today. For all of our callers that called in, thanks for listening, and thanks for taking of your valuable time. Mike Reed, you are an extraordinary young man, and we understand why, because your grandmother was an extraordinary woman, and she poured all of that love into you, my brother. So you have a friend here at the conversation. If ever you have news you want to share with us, please reach out.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of
Thank you for
course,
everything.
of course.
Of course. To Miss Kitty Daniels, we love you, we miss you, and your story will live on through us.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We are The Conversation. This is WMNF Tampa.